that look, eh?
Purple looks good on them.
Yeah, it looks good.
Especially when they're scoring like that off a semi-transition break by winning the jump ball. Early 2-point lead for Northwestern.
Greg, so important for Northwestern in their 2 Big Ten wins, playing on the lead. Makes all the difference in the world for the style of offense they run.
They've got to avoid getting behind, no question about that, and especially on the road. But the other thing, when they're playing from ahead, if you look at Bill Carmody in his 3rd season, he's done a fine job at Northwestern. But when Northwestern can get out ahead, it seems to take so much pressure off of them from a confidence standpoint. They play much more at ease.
The shot right with Tolbert. Hill at the point. Torbert. 10 to go on the shot clock now for Michigan State. Time's wasted on this possession, and Gagne with a high screen. Open look, Lorbeck for 3, ring it up.
That's working the shot clock. That's knowing the shot clock and not panicking. We saw Michigan State in their shoot-around run that play, and it was as if they knew exactly what they wanted at that time, getting the shot with about 2 seconds to go on the shot clock.
I'm not sure Tom Izzo wanted to wind the clock down that far, but it certainly was effective.
Well, his team kept their poise, and they didn't rush anything and got a good quality shot.
Tim Young on the block against Torbert. 8 to go on the shot clock. Tough shot there, Torbert. Excellent defense. Chris Hill in transition. Here's Torbert. Had it knocked away. Picked off by Burke, and the foul committed by Ager. Ager picks up his first personal.
13, Maurice Ager, his first, team's first.
Coach Tom Izzo, 3 Final Four appearances, 1 NCAA title, 4 regular season Big Ten championships, 2 postseason Big Ten titles in all about 8 years. Second most tenured coach in the Big Ten, along with Jerry Dunn at Penn State. Of course, the dean is Gene Cady at Purdue.
By far.
Parker for 3. TJ Parker about a week and a half ago was hitting that freshman wall and seems to be coming out of it the last couple of games. Hill accelerating, traveled on the play.
Well, Michigan State needs to avoid the turnover. Turnovers early in games have really held them from being as good as they can be. And you certainly want your point guard at this particular time, Chris Hill, taking good care of the basketball. He sets the tone for everyone else.
Michigan State had 15 turnovers at Wisconsin the other night. TJ Parker unable to handle that turnover. Gives it back to the Spartans.
You mentioned the 15 turnovers that Michigan State had at Wisconsin. How about Wisconsin committing only 5?
Only 5, yep.
And this Northwestern team very good at handling the basketball as well. That was a rare turnover that we just saw from them.
Wisconsin outscored Michigan State 16-4 on turnovers converted to points. Here's Hill. Again, the Spartans very patient here. Torbert picked up by Burke, screen from Lorbeck. Switch on it with Jennings. Torbert behind the screen by Gagne.
Michigan State has been able to knock down 2 outside shots, but I think I like what Northwestern is doing right now defensively. They're taking that paint away, forcing Michigan State into a perimeter game. Michigan State just able to knock the 2 down that they were given.
Burke trying to back cut Gagne. They switched out of it. Here's Parker. Gagne, a good piece of defense denying the feed into Jennings, but it is to Tim Young who scores later on in the play in the possession.
At 6 feet 2 inches tall, you won't find a tougher performer than Tim Young. He's their leading rebounder for Northwestern and a guy who loves to work out of the post against taller defenders. Here's Michigan State, their second outside shot, which falls. Kelvin Torbert just inside the 3-point line, but that's what Northwestern is giving right now. They're taking the paint away.
Rasheed Johnson into the ball game now for Michigan State in place of Chris Hill at the point guard spot. They want to work him into the rotation as they go along this season. He's more of a true point guard from Mott Community College in Flint. And Gagne with the baseline screen. Torbert open as a result. Got a foul coming up, I believe, on Anaganye in the post, battling Aaron Jennings.
Anaganye is first.
First on Anaganye, second on the team.
Michigan State needs him on the floor because he's a big guy, a burly guy that Northwestern feels that they cannot match up with. So if Anaganye can stay out on the floor, maybe he can cause some problems, especially off the glass.
T.J. Parker into no man's land. Northwestern continues to motion the offense. To Tim Young, to Bird. Chased by Torbert. Michigan State doing a lot of switching defensively, Greg. Parker, deep three, way off.
Good block out by Michigan State's interior rebounders, limiting Northwestern to one tough shot.
To Tim Young picks up the first foul of the game for Northwestern.
Timeout on the floor.
Little over 4 minutes gone by. First half in East Lansing. The visitors by 2.
The male can often find himself in precarious situations.
It is funny.
So how many girls have you know? Seriously? Me too.
Okay. Great.
Rolling Rock beer. Grab a rock.
That way?
You're closer to a Volkswagen than you think. In fact, really, really close.
Update from the Big East, Notre Dame at Syracuse. Check this out, 80-79, the Irish on top. Jerry McNamara from Syracuse, another freshman. That's a 3. 82-80, Syracuse goes on to beat Notre Dame. That's the final score. So Pittsburgh and Notre Dame both lose in the West. And in the East, UConn loses to Villanova. Nova 7-3, UConn 6-4. Let's go back to Wayne.
All right, thank you, Mike. Here's the updated coaches poll, and already in that top 10, Notre Dame and Pitt have fallen. How about freshmen nailing the game winner at Syracuse? Freshmen just doing it all over college basketball.
And certainly in this conference, they have really made an impact.
And they've had to, Greg, with the early entries into the NBA draft in recent years.
It is a new day, isn't it?
Yep, sure is. Good catch, Anaganye. Patient ball movement by Michigan State. Lorbeck over Jennings. Anaganye the rebound, and we get a foul on Northwestern. I believe it's on Jason Burke reaching in.
Northwestern that time looked to be in their 2-3 zone. Now they're going to mix it up a little bit, show Michigan State a few different looks on the defensive end. Therefore, it will be critical that Michigan State recognizes which defense they're going against in order to run the appropriate offense.
Lorbeck, quicker move into the lane. Trying to hit Anaganye at the back door, intercepted by T.J. Parker.
Well, one thing for sure, in the early going, Northwestern is not intimidated.
A lot of confidence coming off that win over first place Purdue the other night. But that was in Evanston. They're in East Lansing today. Much different scenario. 4 turnovers already by Michigan State. We've got a hold coming up on State.
Michigan State foul. 13, Maurice Egger is second.
There's the Big Ten standings up to date. Now, Wisconsin takes over the top spot for the moment. Purdue plays tonight against Illinois at home. But Indiana, in losing on the road today, falls to 5 and 6.
On the baseline out of bounds, Michigan State zoning up here. Plenty of time on the shot clock for Northwestern.
Looks to be a 1-3-1 zone. Parker on the penetration. And the rebound, Paul Davis, who just checked in. Chris Hill back into the game as well. His pull-up. Hard rebound. Davis had it stripped away. And here comes Hashad. 2-on-1 with Burke. And it's broken up and knocked out of bounds. Chris Hill. The officials one overrules the other. And it will go to Michigan State. Good piece of officiating there because the baseline official may have been screened on it, but the out official had a good look at it.
Well, Michigan State showed good transition defense that time to get back and avoid an easy conversion for Northwestern, but Michigan State has to be concerned with their ball handling right now. Turnovers are mounting. In fact, more turnovers now than points for Michigan State.
6 turnovers at the moment for Michigan State. My goodness, they came in averaging 15. They are down up the track, so to speak, in terms of turnover to assist ratio in the Big Ten. Well, ranking 8.
They may be able to overcome it at home, Wayne, but it has been to their absolute detriment on the road. The turnovers, especially in the first half of games.
Exactly. It gets them behind the 8 ball in the first half, and it's real hard to come back in the second half, especially in the Big Ten on the road. Jatim Young over Bograkis. Wow.
Oh, like him.
Bograkis was right in his face.
That was a tough shot that Jatim Young was just able to knock down.
Hill for 3.
Michigan State's going to need a lot of that because I'm seeing that Northwestern is really clamping down in the paint area. When Michigan State is able to get it into the post, right away they're doubling down, so it'll be imperative to throw it back out, and guys have to be ready to shoot it on the perimeter.
Skip past Hashad. Elevates for 3. Ring that. Well, they're starting to light it up on both sides of the yard.
And Hashad is a capable three-point shooter, but one that has been struggling on the year from that distance.
Ball stripped away from Gagne, picked up by Torbert. And Gagne inside again. Finds Bograkis for a long 2. Parker unable to handle. It'll belong to Michigan State.
That was a good pass by Gagne, but Wayne, when he caught that ball, he was right under the basket. I think at that point you got to turn around and attack the rim, put pressure on the defensive guy. Gagne, a better scorer than I think he's shown throughout his career.
Ballinger in for Gagne. Hill for 3. Jennings the rebound. This is a much quicker Northwestern team than we've seen the last several years.
It sure is, and they work well out of the half court because they're good ball handlers. They get a spread floor on you, and they're very unselfish.
Jennings against Ballinger. Nicely done.
Man, Northwestern has a lot of balance to their attack. They've knocked down some outside shots. They've got some activity inside, even got a basket in transition. So they're giving Michigan State the whole look right now.
They're 6 of 9 from the floor, executing very well offensively. Davis, tough shot over Jennings.
That's the thing you have to do if you get it in the post. Make your move quick, be decisive, go hard to the rim. Put the pressure on the defensive guy. Davis was able to do that time.
Davis, coming off the 21-point game at Indiana, did not score at Wisconsin. And so goes the life of a freshman. You have a big game, and then you don't show up at all. One good, one bad. Turnover, Northwestern. Michigan State sets it up.
That's really the opposite ends of the spectrum for Davis.
Northwestern is second in the league in turnover margin at +2. Ballinger inside, finds Davis. Bograkis forced that pass. Another Michigan State turnover.
You can't do that against a defense that's really compact in that paint area.
But the Spartans hustle a turnover of their own. 4-point lead as you get a look at the turnovers growing by leaps and bounds for both sides. Parker got a piece of that pass. Davis to Hill. Ballinger for three. Ring it up.
Well, he shot that with no hesitation. Adam Ballinger, a guy that has been trying to find the rhythm that he enjoyed last year as a junior, has been very elusive here as a senior.
You mentioned Northwestern focusing on the paint. Well, Michigan State has hit 3 of 4 from the outside of this first half. 3 of 4 from the arc. Berg slashing. Tim Young 3. He was fouled by Bograkis behind the arc. He'll go to the line for 3.
And for the next few moments, Bograkis will draw the ire of Tom Izzo, because you never want to foul a guy in the act of shooting from three-point land. You close out under control, and actually it's going to get 3 shots, yeah. You close out under control, Wayne, and try to get the hand up. You don't want to run a guy down and just put him on the line.
Well, we saw an NBA All-Star game go to an extra session on a foul like that.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Tim Young, what a job he's done. 2 double-doubles in his last 3 games. He is the energizer for this team.
Hey, give Northwestern credit. They came in here. They have not been in awe of this arena or this environment. Bill Carmody says starting the Big Ten season out with so many games on the road has prepared them for this. And then, of course, that confidence gained on Wednesday night that you spoke of a moment ago.
1 out of 2 at the line, or 2 out of 3 at the line for Young. Rashid Johnson sets it up. Torbert looking for Davis in the corner. Ballinger comes to the block. Perimeter ball movement, Michigan State. Not much going yet. Eight to go on the shot clock. Johnson for 3. Jennings tips the rebound to Blake, and his outlet pass ill-fated, stolen by Johnson. At times, both teams have been a little too anxious to get the ball on the floor.
In Northwestern, they want to run, but usually they don't rush it, and they don't force anything. If it's not obviously there, then they're not going to throw it down. They'll work their half-court offense. So really unusual to see them toss one away, pushing it up the floor.
Inside of 9.5 to go, first half. Rebounding story. We expected Michigan State to hold the advantage there. Time winding down on Northwestern. Tim Young collects in the lane, clears to Parker for 3. That would have been a prayer answered if it went. Hill on the drive.
Can't tell you how tough that shot was. Hill on the move, having to get by a defender, not travel, not charge, and keep your attention on the glass. Nice shot by Chris Hill.
Northwestern has led most of the way. They lead by the slimmest of margins right now. Parker retrieves off the tip. Parker trying to take Johnson baseline, and he loses. 6 turnovers for Northwestern. Chris Hill moments ago, one-man fast break, beats J.T. Parker to the goal.
Introducing the 7-Up Parade Balloon. It's going to make people want the refreshing taste of 7-Up. And it's completely realistic. I even gave it a pull tab.
When you can find the nearest locksmith. When you can check a movie time. And tell your friends you're running late. When you can find the right words to open a door. All with a calling plan starting at $19.99 a month. That's M-Life from AT&T Wireless. Right now, get a free Nokia 3590 phone after $100 mail-in rebate. Hurry in or call 1-888-MY-M-Life today.
and proud sponsor of Jeff Burton. Citgo, we know you.
You have a fishy. Can I feed it?
Who wouldn't want the fresh sliced deli meat and fresh baked bread of a Blimpie?
Ah, soup, the ultimate comfort food. And it's soup season at Blimpie. Blimpie has hearty traditional freshly made soups, along with their famous delicious fresh sliced subs. Soup's on. Soup up your sub at Blimpie today.
8:29 left to go first half. Two teams have combined for 13 turnovers, but on occasion they've run some very nice offense.
No question about it. Look, in the post right now, Michigan State wants to get the ball to Adam Ballinger, but Northwestern has done a good job of compacting that lane, getting a lot of defenders in there. Ballinger still posting, but look at the penetration by Hill. 3 defenders go into the paint, so Ballinger steps out to the perimeter. He was in the post, he went to the perimeter. Michigan State was able to find him unguarded, and he knocked down his first 3 of the game.
And there they are, the 3-point field goals, and when Northwestern takes away the inside, Michigan State so far today has been able to hit from the outside. By the way, Northwestern just 2 of 4 from the arc. 43% of their field goal attempts in conference play have been from beyond the 3-point stripe.
They make you come out and guard them, and if they're knocking those 3 downs, then you have to worry about their backdoor cutting. They get a lot of layups, as they did against Purdue in their win, by having a spread wide open court.
Maurice Ager picked up by Jimmy Maley, and a push coming up on Maley. First personal on Maley, 3rd on the team.
Number 20, Jimmy Maley is first. The team
Gatorade, the thirst quencher.
Northwestern showing zone again.
Torbert on the fadeaway.
And he loves to hang in the air and shoot the ball on the way down. And of course, when Torbert is on, it really takes a lot of pressure off the other players that score.
Spartans by 1. Northwestern with 25 to go on the possession clock. 7:38 left to go. Bill Carmody and company have played on the lead for the most part here today, but they're down by 1 now.
Come on. Yeah, I'm still in the car.
10 minutes, an hour, I've got no idea. This is ridiculous.
Can't wait to get your new Jetta? With offers like this, why would you?
All together in sync, so competitive. Brothers to the core, we link, don't forget it. In bad times are good, friend or foe. If life's a game you play, then I'm 1 for 0. All day in the dirt, my sweat's my paycheck. We're brothers to the core. It's like 1 for all, if one should fall, we tight despite the weather and fight for one cause. We're brothers to the core, so please believe me. Never forfeit the game, my team needs me. No one ever said success would come easy, but that's when my friends step in with LOVE.
You don't have to touch anything, it's voice activated.
811 Hampton. I'm not yelling, I'm speaking clearly.
All righty, kids. Make a right, then hop on the freeway.
Freeway?
Get on the freeway, or I'm taking you to my mother-in-law's house.
Just do what the car says.
Okay. I don't know, it's a computer. It said take
You
a
kids
right.
bring any snacks?
But yes, I have a map. What do you think? Isn't this?
That's right. Paradise, baby. Do yourself a favor, get a room.
Back in 1927, we pumped our first gallon of Phillips 66, and word got around we made pretty good gasoline. Our idea was treat customers like neighbors, because they are, and make sure that Phillips 66 gasoline is always good enough to keep their cars coming back week after week. It was a good idea 75 years ago, and you know what? It still is. Year after year, mile after mile, and for all the miles to come, Phillips 66.
Back in Michigan State, finally something for Sparty to clap about. Michigan State on top by 1. Now let's take a look at the Volkswagen game summary. 3-point field goal shooting. Been very good so far, and so has the shooting from the field. Michigan State 7 of 13, Northwestern 6 of 10.
Both these teams will be happy with where they are. Just taking better care of the ball would be the one question that needs to be answered. But Michigan State shooting the ball from the outside, because that is what Northwestern is giving them. They're getting good looks, and because the defense for Northwestern is so condensed in that paint area, it's tough for them to get back out and put a hand up on the three-point shooters, and that's probably something that they'll discuss a lot at halftime.
Pass forced into the paint to Tim Young, able to gather it in. Michigan State on a 9-2 run over the last 4 minutes. Off the ball, got a hold on Rashid Johnson, his first.
Michigan State Rashid Johnson, his first, team fifth.
5 team fouls now on State as Chris Hill back in. You saw Tom Izzo had the clipboard out with him, drawing something up, and now Hill is in to execute. Oh, they forgot about Maley in the corner. Got an open look for 3, followed his shot. Couldn't handle it, and here comes Hill. Flying off the wing, that's Corbett.
There's that line drive jumper again. He really elevates, and I guess that's what allows him to shoot it on the way down. He's still up there pretty good when he releases.
Yeah, you could shoot line drive if you're elevated about the height of the basket.
Right.
The rest of us got to put a little air into that shot. A 3 for Jason Burns.
Huge basket, huge bucket for Northwestern. In a game like this, you're better keeping it close. Northwestern, not a good come-from-behind basketball team.
Open look for Ager for 3.
The pace is starting to quicken, and that certainly favors Michigan State.
It really is, and both sides have shot it well the entire afternoon. Michigan State, especially from the arc, 4 of 6 shooting. This is Young. Trying to get the step on Ager. Pivots into the lane. Oh, what a move. Tim Young.
Man, he's good. He is good.
That guy can play. Ager on the drive, had it knocked away, and then Anaganye cleans it up. I believe it was Burke who got the block initially, and then Anaganye following the play. Michigan State by 3, under 6 minutes to go now, first half. Spartans appear to be in it now. Now they match it up. Maley. Jennings has been quiet for the most part today. Well, they've really extended the defense. Jennings on the cut, denied and knocked out of bounds by the Spartans. That was Lorbeck who got that long arm in front of Jennings and knocked it away. 5 to go on the shot clock now for Northwestern.
One thing that Michigan State has done very well in this game, they have not allowed themselves to be back cut for easy layups. They worked on that in practice, and they're doing a nice job at this particular time.
Lake will have to hurry in the shot. Manufactured one, got the rim, but that was all. Anaganye the rebound. Big screen by Anaganye. Hill picked up on a switch by Jennings. Torbert open, wide open. That time the line drive a little too much.
It almost line drive right back to him.
I know it.
Those line drivers you don't get a lot of kind rolls with them. If they get rimmed, forget it.
You've either made it or you've missed it.
Right.
There's no in between. It doesn't bounce around the rim and drop in. But the numbers continue very good from the field for both sides. 10 to go on the shot clock, Northwestern. For them, that's plenty of time. Berg for 3. Rebound chased down by Torbert. This is not one of the quicker Michigan State teams, but they certainly have athletic ability on the floor. There's no doubt about that.
And they've got range, too. They can get long rebounds.
They have what I would call good basketball instinct players. And they are tough as nails defensively. Ager leaning in. How's that one going to go? Offensive, I believe. It is an offensive foul. Maurice Ager, that's his third.
Team 6. 40, Paul Davis checks in for Anaganye.
Davis coming in for Anaganye. Egger leaves, and Rashid Johnson back on. We're at the Breslin Center in East Lansing, Michigan. The Michigan State Spartans and the Northwestern Wildcats. Along with Greg Kelser, I'm Wayne Larrabee. Great to have you with us this afternoon. Jennings. They're the leading scorers at the moment. Tim Young, no surprise there. Aaron Jennings, with only his second from the field, the leading scorer for Northwestern, has 4 points.
The thing that I'm noticing that's working for Northwestern has been their execution. When they take care of the basketball, they are getting quality shots, and they are playing with a great degree of poise. So that is helping them to stay in this game right now.
Northwestern, foul number 30.
Moments ago.
It's a beautiful post move by a guy who can also step it out beyond the three-point arc, working with his back to the basket.
Jason Berg picked up a foul a moment ago. It's his second, fourth on the team. Michigan State by the slimmest of margins.
That way? You're closer to a Volkswagen than you think. In fact, really, really close.
Through doom and gloom and stormy weather, this wizard of weather puts the pads on and puts his best foot forward for you. Neither winter's cold nor the chill of air will stop this appointed weather god from tending to his appointed duties, issuing forecasts, updating snowfall totals, measuring the chill in the air. And who is this weather warrior? Cody Stark. And you can find him weekday mornings on Fox 59. Wake up with Fox 59 and Cody Stark. Where else could you have this much fun with the weather?
Coming up at halftime, Wisconsin turned up the heat on Michigan and Purdue, for that matter. They knocked off Indiana. Louisville had their 17-game winning streak snapped at St. Louis. The Cardinals are at Marquette today. We'll take a look at one of Tom Izzo's great point guards. And Greg, what about Wisconsin outscoring Indiana 50-30 in the second half?
Well, Wisconsin's a team that seems to be cresting and, buoyed by their win over Michigan State at home. I think they feel like they're going to be a factor in this race. Yes, everyone has talked about Illinois. Everyone has talked about the fine job that Michigan has done coming out of the gate. And Purdue. Wisconsin says, hey, do not forget about us. Yep. We want to share that Big Ten crown last year, and we're looking to hold on to it.
And nobody's been talking about Wisconsin. Those were two big home wins, albeit home wins, against Indiana today, and, of course, Michigan State on Tuesday. Michigan State leading by 1. Davis and Andreas are the big people to the game for Michigan State at the moment. Northwestern very tenacious. The thing you mentioned it early, Greg, they're poised. We're seeing a poised Northwestern team out there, and a team that's very active and now more athletic, so they can be more effective on the defensive end. They forced a lot of turnovers early. 7 of the 8 Michigan State turnovers came in the first 10 minutes of the half. Torbert out of the corner. Boy, he's played well today. 8 steady points from Kelvin Torbert.
His jump shot is much improved, and he has confidence in it. Earlier, you would have had Kelvin Torbert trying to force his way inside when perhaps there were no openings, but he doesn't do that a lot anymore. He takes what's there and he shoots the ball with a great deal of confidence.
He's 4 of 5 from the field. Jennings, an air ball there. Dug out of there by Jatim Young. Blake, the fall away. He got bumped, no call. Here come the Spartans. Rashid Johnson on the run. And up on the rim, we've got a foul coming up. Davis went up high on that break, and the foul is on Paul Davis, the freshman, his first.
You mentioned Paul Davis's foray from one end of the spectrum to the other, where he had 21 on the road at Indiana and then 0 at Wisconsin. But I got to tell you, in that Indiana game, which went into overtime, the freshman was something to see. He was Michigan State's go-to guy and at times the best player on the floor. But you're right, with freshmen, sometimes it's hard to keep it going, but you learn from that.
Blake, who has struggled with his shot all season for Northwestern, misses on the front end of a 1-on-1. Johnson, good quickness out of the backcourt at the point guard spot. Tom Izzo says that due to injury, he just hasn't been able to absorb the offense the way they'd like him to.
Right.
If he's going to run the team. So Chris Held, much of that duty has fallen on him, and before him, Alan Anderson, who's out with a finger injury. Well, that had to be. Well, there's a foul coming up. Dan Crispin's got a foul down low. One of the Spartans up on the rim, and they're calling a technical foul on that infraction. I think it's on Andreas.
I think the reason for this call, and this is only speculation on my part, but when going for the offensive rebound, Andreas was up in the air trying to hang there, and he grabbed the rim to help him.
Yep.
So it wasn't a case of grabbing the rim to protect yourself.
So off the technical foul, it is the first on Andreas and the 8th on the team. TJ Parker makes good on the first and the second.
Michigan State is just having to be patient. You know, they're waiting for that run as you look at Alan Anderson, who is really starting to get comfortable with that point guard spot, had been playing great. 10 minutes before practice ends before the Indiana game, he suffers a dislocation where, Wayne, they say the bone came.
Yeah, compound fracture.
Yeah, out of the finger.
So he's got 2 fingers on his right hand taped together for a while. I asked him, he said, was it the most pain you've ever experienced? He said, yeah, it was. Tie up here, alternating possession. It'll belong to Michigan State. I mean, you would think a little pinky finger injury, how much could that hurt? Finger injuries, I mean, just a death-defying form of pain. It's amazing.
There's a dislocation where you can pop it right back into place and keep playing, and then there's the bone that comes out of the finger when you're just about looking at surgery in most cases.
That's the first time he ever saw one of his bones in living color.
He said it was the last time. The last time he wants to see that.
Exactly. Wow. Under 2 minutes to go, first half. Mike Gleason coming up at halftime from the studio with all the updates around college basketball. Corbett inside. Davis goes to work. Pretty move, didn't quite finish. Winston Blake up high for the rebound for Northwestern. We've been nip and tuck throughout. Wildcats trail by 1.
Yeah, Michigan State, as I was saying earlier, looking to surge. Normally by this time at home, they will have had 2 or 3 runs, but they're having to be patient because right now, Northwestern isn't going anywhere.
Offensive foul. Blake out of control. And the man who stepped in front was Chris Hill to take the charge. First on Blake, 5 on the team.
If you're Michigan State, you just don't want to let things get out of hand the last minute and 18, and if you have to go in with a 1 or 2 or 3 point lead, then so be it. You've got the second half where you make your adjustments, and, you know, in their minds probably thinking they can get a run or 2 going at that time. But give Northwestern credit. They have hung in here very well.
Despite 9 turnovers in the first half. Good catch, Andreas, and then an awkward pass. Hill gets it out front. That's where the shooter wants it. Comes up just short. Blake, another rebound. Second defensive rebound for Blake, and a timeout called by Bill Carmody, and this is a good timeout. We're just under a minute to go first half. Northwestern trailing by 1. The last possession, they got a little impatient in the person of Winston Blake, but he wants to settle things down and run a play here.
Wouldn't shock me if he tried to go 2 for 1.
Meanwhile, Kelvin Torbert, 4 from the field. Shot the ball very well and has been steady all day.
We talked about Kelvin Torbert having confidence in his jump shot. Look at the elevation that he's getting. Now healthy. Remember last year played with a damaged ankle, but now he's getting the explosiveness, the elevation, and shooting it quite well. I think before it's all over, you're going to see Kelvin Torbert averaging in the 15 to 16 point range within the next year or two.
Torbert 4 of 5 shooting from the field. Now let's take a moment to thank our Big Ten corporate sponsor, Gatorade Thirst Quencher. It's in college basketball. Is it in you? Wayne Larrabee, Greg Kelser, great to have you with us. Mike Gleason standing by in the studio with the update at halftime. Northwestern a chance to take the lead. Michigan State appears to be in a zone. Jennings with 10 to go on the shot clock. Hashad looking for a postman. T.J. Parker stripped away by Johnson, picked up by Torbert. Johnson on the run, battling for the basketball and knocking that out of bounds. Winston Blake to break up the Michigan State fast break.
Well, Michigan State has done a superb job defensively and not getting back cut for easy layups. Northwestern's done a good job with their transition defense, not giving Michigan State anything easy and forcing them to have to work out of the half court for everything.
The hustle by Winston Blake denied Rashid Johnson. An easy 2 points. Michigan State takes a timeout. They'll have possession with 23.9 to go. Be sure to stick around. The second game of our Big Ten doubleheader. 5 Eastern, 4 Central. Penn State Nittany Lions take on Steve Alford's Iowa Hawkeyes. Big Ten action you won't want to miss, only from ESPN+. Chauncey Leslie leading the way for the Hawkeyes, who have been one of the surprise teams, along with Michigan this season in the Big Ten. Maybe Purdue to a lesser degree.
Well, Purdue really seemed to be on a roll, but then they ran into some difficulty at Wisconsin and then losing to the Northwestern Wildcats.
I mean, they may have been looking ahead to tonight's battle at home against Illinois. Michigan has a lead on Ohio State at the moment. They're playing, about 90 miles from here down in Ann Arbor.
Actually, I'm sorry, I said Purdue losing at Wisconsin. They lost at Minnesota. Minnesota's so tough in Williams Arena.
They really are.
And they have been for a long time.
It's that elevated floor, Greg.
It's got to be.
Something about the air. Spartans looking to add to a 1-point lead. Chris Hill against T.J. Parker. Double screen, Davis and Ballinger. Adam Wolf, a shooter in the game. Ballinger on the drive. Winston Blake to beat the clock, will not count. Northwestern had as big a lead as 14-8 with 12:25 to go in the first half. Michigan State went on a 16-9 run to finish with a 3-point 28-25 lead at halftime. We step away to the studio. Mike Gleason, it's all yours.
Thanks a lot, Wayne. So the Cats hanging tough with Michigan State in the Breslin Center. It's amazing what a couple of victories can do for your confidence. Now, Tommy Amaker and his Wolverines returned to Chrysler Arena today after only putting 49 on the board at Indiana on Wednesday night. The loss to the Hoosiers dropped the Wolverines to 7-3, but they still had a share of that top spot in the Big Ten. And getting up for Ohio State's never been a problem in this game. Sean Conley, this is his specialty. A 3 deep in the corner. Michigan by 5 at that point. A few plays later, Lavelle Blanchard drives in for the the layup. He was only 3 of 13 on Wednesday in Bloomington. 18-15, Michigan by 3. And right now it's 25-21. Michigan by 4 over the Buckeyes. Still in the first half, 4 minutes to go. Ohio State trying to get to 6-6. Michigan needs the win after Wisconsin won. Michigan 7-3. Speaking of Wisconsin, earlier today they knocked off Indiana. So Wisconsin's 8-3. Kirk Penny gets 22. They were down by 8 at the half. They opened up the second half with a 12-2 run, and they outscored Indiana 50-30 in the second half. Top-ranked Arizona making sure they don't lose that slot after dismantling UCLA and now entertaining Southern Cal today. Let's take a look at some of the action. End of the first half, Arizona with the ball. Hutchinson with the steal. Jerry Dupree, you got it. Buzzer beater, half court, 45-35, Cats on top. Now the second half, Channing Frye with the follow-up flush. Arizona up 57-48. Now Luke Walton, a little give and goal to Andre Iguodala for another slam. Arizona winning it big, and the Cats are on a roll, 86-59. If the Cats hit, well, if they hit 80, there's no stopping them. Of course, they knocked off UCLA by 36. So Arizona now 20-2, 12-1 in the Pac-10. Let's go to the Big 12. Texas and Nebraska. Texas knocking off Oklahoma, and they beat Nebraska 75-63. Oklahoma, Texas Tech. They'll tip it at 4 o'clock. Of course, the first time those two schools met, it went into overtime. Of course, they had the controversy with the clock there. Big day in the Big East. First of all, Western Division. Notre Dame, Syracuse. Irish on top of the ball game. Now that's Notre Dame coming back. Matt Carroll knocks down the 3-ball. And now watch this. It's 80-79. That's Jerry McNamara, a freshman. That turns out to be the game winner in the ball game. Matt Carroll gets a chance. He's partially deflected. And time expires. And this is a big, big win for Syracuse. Now keep in mind, Notre Dame and Pitt, they were both 7-2. Syracuse, they were trailing. But with the victory now, Syracuse, they go to 8-3. Notre Dame 7-3. And then Pittsburgh, you can see, they were upset by Seton Hall. So they're 7-3. So Syracuse jumps over both. Andre Sweetney and Andre Barrett each with 17 in the Hall's upset over the Panthers. How about the East? Villanova, UConn, they were both 6-3. Villanova wins that one 79-70. So Villanova goes to 7-3. UConn 6-4. Gary Buchanan with 28 points for the winners there. We're at halftime at the Breslin Center, East Lansing, Michigan. It's a tight one. The Wildcats of Northwestern hanging with the Spartans, down by 3, 28-25.
You're 34, sweetheart. You should be thinking about your future.
I've been investing.
Oh, please.
I bought EMI.
You bought EMI? You own EMI, the music company? Well, I am so proud of you.
You want a piece of my heart? Oh, baby. In the interest of our long-standing commitment to the independent investor, we interrupt our commercial to announce the Ameritrade Switchers Reserve, a pool of $1 million specially earmarked to pay $50 toward the transfer fee of everyone who opens an individual or joint account by April 29, 2003 with a transfer of $10,000 or more. You'll also get 30 commission-free internet equity trades to use over your first 30 days. Get your share today at Ameritrade.com/switch/. Now back to our commercial. Join the thousands who switch to Ameritrade every month. Ameritrade, what's your share? Switch to Ameritrade today and get $50 plus 30 commission-free internet equity trades.
Cooper Tire is proud to be the official tire of the Big Ten Conference. Cooper Tires, don't give up a thing.
First of 2 on the Big Ten Network. Second half could be intriguing. Michigan State by 3. Now a word about Michigan State University.
The MSU campus is located in East Lansing, Michigan, but where do we learn? From East Lansing to around the globe, MSU students have the opportunity to explore ideas and experience other cultures in the #1 study abroad program in the nation. In these programs, they learn about cultural diversity and the global marketplace, expanding their personal horizons and preparing them to be informed, compassionate citizens of the global community. Where do we teach? From Michigan schools to schools throughout the nation and the world. MSU College of Education faculty and students engage young minds with exciting approaches to learning, thinking, and applying new ideas. For the past 8 years, ranked #1 in the nation, MSU's graduate programs in both elementary and secondary education are engaged in a relentless pursuit to improve the education of students and teachers. Where do we do research? From the MSU campus to the farthest reaches of the galaxy. Recently, MSU physics and astronomy professor Timothy Beers discovered the oldest known star, helping to unlock the secrets of the universe. Soon, the SOAR telescope, located in Chile, will stream real-time images to MSU classrooms, allowing Professor Beers to share his discoveries with his students and advance their knowledge of our place in the universe. Where do we help? From the MSU campus to a remote mountaintop in central China. Professor Jack Liu and his students work with the Chinese government to help protect the habitat of the giant panda. It is estimated that fewer than 1,000 pandas are now left in the wild. Over 7 years' worth of data collected in this project will help governments and nonprofit organizations in their quest to improve the management of wildlife reserves worldwide. So where do we learn, teach, do research, and help? Everywhere. Michigan State University, advancing knowledge, transforming lives.
Time now for Nourishing Potential, brought to you by Cargill. Tim Young grew up in Chicago playing at Gordon Tech. He started every game at Northwestern. Former high school All-American tied a school record by starting all 30 games as a sophomore. His 29 points this year back in November was the best in the Bill Carmody era. Young had 23 in the upset win over Indiana, hitting 9 of 11 shots. He had back-to-back double-doubles while being named Big Ten Player of the Week. Cargill, because the better we're fed, the more we hunger to achieve. Young had 12 points, 9 boards in their victory over Purdue. 8 points in the first half at Michigan State. He's 3 of 4 from the field, and Northwestern within 3 of the Spartans.
When you can pick up the trail of a lost dog. When you can check in with everyone you know and follow up on every lead. When you can get word that your best friend is safe and sound. All with a calling plan starting at $19.99 a month. That's M-Life from AT&T Wireless. Right now, get a free Nokia 3590 phone after $100 mail-in rebate. Hurry in or call 1-888-MY-M-Life today.
I'm a math teacher and a basketball coach. I've always been a student of the game. There's so many split-second decisions you have to be thinking all the time. I try to teach my girls that it starts with physical ability, but it's the thinkers that rise above. That's the reason I come to Phillips 66. I know I'll get the highest quality gasoline for my car, and I know they're always thinking of ways to improve, like my team.
Year after year, mile after mile, and for all the miles to come, Phillips 66.
20 minutes to go. Michigan State by 3 over Northwestern. It's time now for We Know You, brought to you by Citgo. Proud to support today's athletes. Lateen Cleaves had the innate ability to lead. An All-American quarterback in high school, Cleaves always missed the sport but chose to play college hoops for Tom Izzo. He was the key ingredient when Michigan State owned the Big Ten. He defined the position of point guard. He could score but loved the dish. He's the Big Ten single game, single season, and career assist king. Not only did he lead Michigan State to a national title, he was so close to Tom Izzo. Izzo's son Steven's middle name happens to be Lateen. Kelvin Torbord actually scored more points in high school in Flint, Michigan than Cleaves did. Torbord 4 for 5 from the field in the first half. He may have to shoot more in the second 20 minutes.
Northwestern University. Exceptional academic opportunities. 2 beautiful lakefront campuses. Outstanding faculty. Lifelong friendships. Northwestern University in Chicago. A symphony of success.
Our accountant says we have to pay tax on every car still on our lot. So we're thinking we'd move them to your garage. Now during the Dodge Indiana tax sale, you can save big with up to $4,500 cash allowance or 0% financing on select models. Plus, get Dodge's 770 powertrain limited warranty. Ford, Chevy, and Toyota don't match it. But hurry, because while taxes will always be around, this tax sale ends February 28th.
Wouldn't it be amazing if an airline offered everyday low fares to cities you would actually want to go to? Is that too much to ask? We don't think so. ATA announces everyday low fares to everywhere. Take advantage of everyday low fares to everywhere we fly, with no advance purchase or minimum stay requirements. Want to fly for free? Go to ATA.com to register and learn how you can start earning your free trip today. ATA, an honestly different airline.
Well, strike out the band. The Spartans have the lead at halftime, 28-25. But I'll tell you something, Greg Kelser, as you take a look at that Northwestern team that came in here, they came in with a certain degree of confidence and an air about them that only a big win over a conference leader could gain them, and that's what they had on Wednesday night. I'm impressed with the way they handle things. The turnovers are a bit high for them, but they've been poised here today.
The reason why Northwestern's in this game, number one, they shoot 50%. Number two, they only get out-rebounded by 3. And number 3, Wayne, they kept Michigan State off the free throw line. Spartans did not shoot a free throw in the first half.
All right, now let's take a look at the Cadillac first half highlights.
Well, for Northwestern, I thought they had great balance. Getting outside shooting there from T.J. Parker, there from Muhammad Bashad. Michigan State, a lot of Kelvin Torbord. Shooting the jump shot, he had 8 points to lead them. Adam Ballinger, that is, nice pump fake along the baseline to get all the way inside that just before the end of the half. This is a very competitive game, one that Michigan State has had to be patient in, and I'm looking for a big second half.
Well, you know, you take a look at the shooting, both teams at 50%, but the turnovers high for both sides, especially Northwestern. They came in averaging just 11 turnovers a game in Big Ten play. And the rebounding edge, well, Northwestern actually has hung on the boards pretty well with Michigan State. Bill Carmody told us that if his team could hang within 5 or 10 rebounds of Michigan State, they'll be good.
We quick seared cuts of T-bone. Yep. Sirloin, strip. Right. Served with onion on top, some lettuce and tomato. Basically what we're grilling here is a steak dinner in convenient burger form.
Steak and Shake now accepts credit cards, so when you get your steak burger, you can put it on plastic. Of course, we're still going to put it on real china.
Steak and Shake.
So crucial when you're a big underdog like Northwestern, the opening couple of minutes of the second half. And Northwestern got off to a good start in the first half, but Michigan State was especially generous with 7 turnovers in the first 11 Spartan possessions. Northwestern can't expect that kind of hospitality here in the second half.
Nope. Because after the 7, Michigan State just 1 turnover the rest of that half, so they seem to have solved that issue and would like to carry it over here in the second half.
Just the start of things, second half. Nice to have you with us, Wayne Larrabee, along with Greg Kelser. Mike Gleason will be updating from the studios throughout the afternoon. 6 to go on the shot clock. Tim Young, Torbert made it tough on him. Hill leaping in for the rebound, and he races out of the backcourt. Bokrakas getting a start here at the outset of the second half. Anaganye inside, double down from Ashad. Back to Anaganye. And 1.
He can do more of that. I am sure he can. Anaganye with very deep position. Gets the basketball. Another dribble to strengthen his position. He went up with it with the left hand, and he'll get a 3-point chance here. When Anaganye can stay out of foul trouble, and when he's confident with the basketball, Wayne, there's no reason why he can't score like that a lot.
He had just 4 points in 11 minutes. Only played 11 minutes at Wisconsin the other night. Foul trouble again. It's afflicted him from the word go in his career here at Michigan State.
Tim Bokrakas starting the second half. Usually when he starts, Tom Izzo is trying to get a more defensive-minded unit in there, and he's guarding on number 14, Mohammed Hashad.
It was Hill who triggered that turnover there by tapping the ball loose from Jennings. Bokrakas the reverse.
Hey, Bokrakas has hang time. I didn't know that. He went from one side of the hoop to the other and kissed it off the window with the proper English, and it fell for him.
Bill Carmody saying that should have been offensive basket interference. And we'll take a look at it as we go to the break. Bokrakas ahead of the field. Watch Anaganye come into the picture right here. Did he interfere with this? Sure looked like it.
Discover To Go is a great way to always have a credit card with you.
Thank you.
It's also an easy way to pay for things.
Thanks. Have a great day.
It's not, however, good for ping pong. Discover To Go. Easy to carry, easy to use. Not good for ping pong. Just 2 more reasons it pays to discover.
Could have seen it coming. Cadillac, breakthrough. Cooper Tire is proud to be the official tire of the Big Ten Conference. Cooper Tires, don't give up a thing.
Bill Carmody got a quick timeout. Aloysius Anagagne's outscored Northwestern 5-0 at the outset of the second half.
Watch as this shot goes off the rim from Tim Pograkis. Did Anagagne get a hand on that? Let's take another look. Wayne, did Anagagne get a hand on that?
Yes, he did.
Michigan State getting the benefit of that. Bill Carmody feeling like it was still in the cylinder, but now Northwestern running jeopardy. They need to score here because this is a team that can ill afford to fall down double digits on the road.
Hashad. Dangerous pass to Jennings. Lorbeck almost tipped that away.
I talked about Michigan State's patience. I'll contrast it with a boxing match. You know, you'd love to get that early knockout, but sometimes you got to try and get your opponent in the later rounds. Well, Michigan State's trying to do that now.
Time winding down to the shot clock. Jennings didn't realize it. Shot clock violation, Northwestern. Good stretch of defense by Michigan State. Textbook.
It was, but inexcusable if you're with Northwestern because none of their players seem to know the clock that time.
And if you're Northwestern, you're used to running it down under 10 seconds of possession, so that shouldn't really happen. 5-0 run in the last 153 of this ball game, and Torbert adds to it. He's got 10.
The pass came from Pograkis. We talked about him in the starting lineup to start the second half because of his defensive presence. Well, he's helping Michigan State defensively. They haven't been scored on yet, and he's helping them on the offensive end.
Jennings on a good cut. Hashad the feed at the back door. First 2 points of the second half for Northwestern. Hill wide open. And the rebound cleared by Jatim Young. He's got numbers. Jason Berg in on Hill. Rejected by Torbert in emphatic fashion with no regard for life below.
Oh, yeah. Torbert is jumping well now. Look at this. Beautiful timing. Hill set him up by not allowing Burke to get all the way to the basket. Set him up beautifully for the spike from Torbert.
He had an ankle injury in October that really set him back through December and early January, but you're right, Greg. He's jumping full distance here today. It's 100%.
Michigan State back in their zone.
Jennings inside and got a bump coming up. Anagagne picks up the foul. It is his second.
25, Anagagne is second. Team's first.
First on the team. Opening 3 minutes of play in this second half. And a slow start for Northwestern. Just 2 points in the opening 3 minutes.
That would have been their first backdoor cut of the game, but the mishandle of the basketball, perhaps shooting it before he caught it that time. Parker, normally sure-handed, that one goes awry.
13 turnovers for Northwestern. Again, they came in averaging 11 turnovers a game. Kelvin Torbert. Hill wide open. And the rebound, Jennings. All right, now, Greg, this is where I see the difference in Michigan State. They're extending their defense, it looks to me, a little bit farther up the floor to get into the guards and get into the wing people, and that's why we've seen a couple of back doors open up for Northwestern.
That's what Northwestern will do, and that's what you have to have happen if you want to back cut people.
Everybody up close. Jennings down low. There's a back cut by Blake, denied by Pograkis. Last touch by Blake.
You talked about Michigan State's defensive coverage, their range. Well, you're seeing it because repeatedly they look beat, but they keep recovering.
And take a look at this. Kelvin Torbert up high over the rim to reject that Northwestern salvo.
Hey, I'm on my new phone. Of course it's Motorola. I own Motorola.
I got a mega VIP owner of Motorola.
In the interest of our long-standing commitment to the independent investor, we interrupt our commercial to announce the Ameritrade Switchers Reserve, a pool of $1 million specially earmarked to pay $50 toward the transfer fee of everyone who opens an individual or joint account by April 29, 2003 with a transfer of $10,000 or more. You'll also get 30 commission-free internet equity trades to use over your first 30 days. Get your share today at Ameritrade.com/switch/. Now back to our commercial.
How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Good. You know I've admired your work.
Which one? Wowie, zowie.
Mr. Chairman, I presume?
Join the thousands who switch to Ameritrade every month. Ameritrade, what's your share? Switch to Ameritrade today and get $50 plus 30 commission-free internet equity trades.
Escalade ESV, the biggest of the breed. Cadillac, breakthrough.
When athletes sweat, they lose more than just water. Gatorade puts back sodium and potassium, proven to replenish and rehydrate athletes better than water. Gatorade. Is it in you?
Michigan State still leading by 8 in the opening 4+ minutes of this second half. Shooting the Rock is brought to you by Rolling Rock Beer. Grab a rock. Both teams down from their 50% numbers of the first half as we get underway in this second half. Man, I'll tell you what, I think they went to the same barber, didn't they?
Same optometrist, too.
Michigan State resumes. Wisconsin, big win over Indiana today at home. And it's going to belong to Northwestern off the turnover. Michigan leading Ohio State in that second half. Boy, Jim O'Brien really down on numbers in terms of players he has available to him due to injuries and whatnot. Now, apparently the clock did not start. And one of the officials heading over to the scorer's table. Kentucky over LSU. Well, the Wildcats in Louisville, boy, both within what, a half-hour's drive of each other. And among the top 10 all season. Texas, very good team in the Big 12. There's the upset. Syracuse over Notre Dame. Mike Gleason standing by in the studio. We'll have all the updates of the late afternoon scores. Northwestern resumes offensively. And again, the Spartans really bringing the defense up across the foul line.
Right now, Michigan State is taking away that three-pointer that Northwestern likes to use, but they're also defending the back door, so they're causing all kinds of problems for the Wildcats.
Northwestern's had 2 turnovers in the early going of the second half right at the back door. That's a 2 by Davis, wouldn't go. A foul coming up inside. I believe it's going to be on Aaron Jennings. Jennings picks up his second personal.
It is all that Jennings can handle, trying to keep Anna Gagne off the glass. Anna Gagne is so strong, and he goes to every offensive rebound.
Well, you know, this program here at Michigan State is built on 2 factors, defense and rebounding. And they still are among the best in the country at both. Hill, oh, nice look, Anna Gagne inside. Well done by Chris Hill.
Nice decision. Unselfishness, because Torbert had a shot, he turned it down. Chris Hill had a shot, he turned it down to get an even better shot for Anna Gagne.
How about Davis reaching over Jennings for the steal? 10-point lead, Michigan State. Hill to make it 13. Davis able to save Anna Gagne. And he traveled. This game has turned decidedly in favor of the Spartans in terms of tempo of play and intensity.
There's the interior pass, and Anaganye, when he catches so close to the basket, very little you can do to stop him. And this game has turned, and it's turned on Michigan State's depth, and it's turned on their overall strength. They have worn the Wildcats down at this point.
Jennings for three. Jatim Young, the lone Wildcat, in among the trees, knocked it out of bounds, and what do we have? Dan Crispin's got a foul, and it's coming up on Chris Hill. His first. Second on the team. Almost 6 minutes into this second half, and Northwestern has been outscored 9-2. They desperately need a bucket. Jatim Young. DeBoer, Dewancic in the ball game for Northwestern. In place of Jennings, who leaves with 2 personal fouls.
Northwestern's not getting the people movement that they were getting in that first half. They're not cutting with precision, and they're certainly not passing the ball well. So many passes deflected now.
T.J. Parker from deep comes up short. Blocked up by Davis. Dewancic rejected inside. A couple of mammoth blocks. One by Torbert, one by Davis here in the early going of this second half, setting the tone on the defensive end for Michigan State. Torbert steps inside. Spartans banging away at it. Davis comes up with it. Hill gives up 3. Ballinger on the drive baseline, and he traveled.
Well, he had the open shot, did Ballinger, and it's okay that he put it on the floor to try and get inside to get something strong, but just a little hesitant with the foot movement and drawing the travel. Needed to just go up without the hesitation and force them to block the shot.
Last year, playing with the kind of confidence he had last year, he would have taken that shot, wouldn't he?
Oh, he would have taken the shot, or if he had put it on the floor, he would have gone in with an idea of trying to finish strong at the basket. A little too much hesitation, perhaps contributing to Adam Ballinger's inconsistency.
Rebound battle, got a foul coming up, and it's going to be on Michigan State. It's on Adam Ballinger. Ballinger's first personal, 3 on the team. Watch also where the 3-point field goals for Northwestern are coming. They're 2 or 3 feet behind the arc. Further evidence of the extension of the Michigan State defense in the half court. 5 second-half turnovers for Northwestern. That's a trend that they had hoped to stop at halftime. Again, they came in averaging just 11 turnovers a game.
Notice you don't see the cutting and slashing. A lot of standing around by Northwestern. You're not going to get much done. There's finally a backdoor cut.
And a nice feed. Burke to Blake. Ballinger. And the rebound, Blake.
Hey, Northwestern with a basket here, and they're right back in this game. And you may see a
timeout. I think Bill Carmody senses that as well. He wants to set something up. This becomes, with 12:18 to go in the ball game, for Northwestern, somewhat of an important possession right here. So Carmody will talk it over with his troops and try to set something up. Michigan State is led by as many as 10 points here in this second half, and we're almost 8 minutes into it.
A spread court is so important if you're going to get backdoor cuts. And you can see Northwestern's players all spread out, forcing Michigan State's defense to have to open up the court. And finally, a cut to the back door, victimizing Rashid Johnson. He sort of lost his man as he cut in, and on a pass that was finally completed without a deflection.
Now let's take a moment to thank our Big Ten corporate sponsor, WorldSpan, official travel distribution and technology provider of the Big Ten Conference. Wayne Larrabee, Greg Kelser, our ESPN Plus crew in East Lansing, Michigan. Nice to have you with us for the first of a doubleheader. Following our game, Penn State at Iowa.
Chris Hill there getting some medical attention. They were stretching him. I don't know if he's got a back injury or something, but he looks to be in a little discomfort over on the bench.
Jatim Young fouled by Torbert. Torbert's first, 4th on the team.
The team's 4th.
That's all Tom Izzo needs is another injury. Do you realize it wasn't until January 16th that Michigan State fielded a full practice of all of their scholarship players? Blake for 3.
Yeah, Michigan State has had some adversity to fight over, but Northwestern right now giving them a lot of adversity too. The Wildcats are back in this game. And a few moments ago, it looked like Michigan State was ready to really stretch out on Northwestern.
Little nickel dimer call there on T.J. Parker.
Team's third.
His first and the third on the team. 11:45 to go in this one. Michigan State by 5.
Ma questa macchina è troppo piccola, dove metti I bagagli?
Sorry, baby. Have to leave it.
Man has always struggled with speed versus space.
Think that thing's big enough?
Until now.
Thank you very much.
The new Infiniti FX45. 350.
Cargill believes there is potential in each of us. And as our lives unfold, that potential is transformed into human accomplishment. The food we eat to nourish our bodies and minds has much to do with what we make of our lives. Every day, Cargill works at the complex job of satisfying the world's diverse appetite for food. Cargill, nourishing the potential in each of us.
The male can often find himself in precarious situations.
It is funny.
So how many girls have you know? Seriously? Me too.
Okay. Great.
Rolling Rock beer, Gravel.
I gotta get what I need when I need it.
I don't have time for sales.
I need the real deal, you know. Stuff that won't get trashed the first time out.
I want brands I trust.
I want to get the best prices every day.
I'm gonna go someplace fun.
I gotta have it all.
Selection and price.
I want a store I can trust.
Good service.
Fun.
The right stuff. Best price.
No gimmicks.
That's Galleon.
Galleons.
Yeah, Galleon.
Galleons, man.
The coolest sports and outdoor adventure store, period. Galleons. Experience it all.
Update from Michigan. The Buckeyes against the Wolverines. Michigan opening up some breathing room now. Check out Daniel Horton. Little spin right here. 17 points, 7 of 10 from the field. And Greg, I talked with Horton Wednesday. He agrees with you. He said there's no way that he has hit the wall.
Daniel Horton's a fine basketball player, along with these other freshmen. And how important are they to their teams? Well, Indiana pretty much hit their tailspin when Bracy Wright went down with a back injury. Tucker's done a nice job for Wisconsin, and T.J. Parker on display right now for the Wildcats.
You know, Greg, I wonder, with all of the AAU basketball the kids play in high school and that type of thing, are kids more able to compete as freshmen on this level today than they were in the past?
I think that helps, you know, almost to the point where are they really freshmen? And then, of course, giving them the playing time. If you don't get the playing time, then you're not going to be able to show what you can do. Well, they're getting the playing time now, more out of need than anything else, as you stated earlier.
The early entries to the NBA draft have hurt a lot of programs. Ager for 3, ring it up. His second tray of the afternoon.
That makes this possession again down by 8. Huge for Northwestern. You want to stay in striking range. They need to come away with dividends here.
Northwestern 4-13 from the field here in the second half. To Jennings, their leading scorer. He traveled.
I think he traveled because there was hesitation in that move. He caught it, wasn't really sure what he wanted to do, decided to go with the hook, but by that time had misshuffled his feet. Here's the big basket by Ager, hand in his face, didn't matter.
Hill sets it up. Torbert on the wing. Davis out high. Torbert gets baseline. Knocked away, and last touch by Winston Blake. It'll belong to Michigan State. Ograkis and Anaganye come back in for the Spartans. Ballinger and Torbert get a break. Michigan State trying to put on one of its patented runs down the stretch of the Big Ten season.
They've done it before, haven't they?
Oh, yes. Anaganye just literally dug that out. Davis is fouled on the drive.
Tom Izzo feels like the scene is set for that type of run. 5-5 in the Big Ten right now. 5 of the next 7 games. One of them a non-conference affair against Syracuse, but 5 of the next 7 right here at the Breslin Center. He feels like the situation is set for them to make that run.
Well, consider this. Michigan State has gone 8-2 or better down the stretch of the Big Ten season every year since 1997. Rocky start in November with a lot of injuries. Pretty good December run, and then in January on the road in the Big Ten primarily. Tell you what, for a moment there, I thought I was in the MSU library instead of Breslin.
I was about to say, don't check your volume. Nothing wrong with your television sets. They just get really quiet in here when a Spartan's on the free throw line.
Dewancic back into the ball game with Jennings on the bench. Jennings has not quite been himself here today for Northwestern. T.J. Parker slashing baseline. Open look out of the corner for 3. Jason Birkin. Boy, do the Wildcats need that one.
Nice job of penetrating along the baseline by Parker, and then the decision to kick it out and not try what would have been a very highly contested layup.
Timeout Michigan State. Some three-quarter court pressure applied by Northwestern, but I beg your pardon, not a timeout by Michigan State. There was a foul called on Hashad, and it's his first. Bill Carmody thought a timeout had been charged to Michigan State, but that wasn't the case. Just a foul on Hashad. 5 team fouls on Northwestern. Davis.
Like I said, the wear down effect is in full effect right now on display. This Anaganye is starting to really push his way and get close for those offensive rebounds.
Spartans on top again by 8. And there's a look at the shooting in the game. Anaganye retrieves. You're right, Greg. There's a definite wear down factor involving Northwestern in this game here. Hager off the baseline. Nicely done. And I got a feeling, yeah, Bill Carmody's going to get a timeout before this one gets totally out of hand. 9:12 left to go. They come to their feet here at Breslin Center. Aloysius Anaganye, 11.7 rebounds to lead Michigan State to a 45-35 advantage.
Here's Michigan State in transition. This will be called a fast break basket because they did it out of transition. Northwestern not able to get back and match up in time. And then Anaganye, watch, the shot's going to come off from Davis. Look at that position by Anaganye. You almost want to say to yourself, you know, they locked him out well in the first half, but could not sustain the pressure on Anaganye, and he is now getting point-blank position.
One of the points that Bill Carmody, the Northwestern coach, made to us prior to the game here this afternoon was that, hey, you know, we've got 1 or 2 big guys. They've got 4 or 5 big guys they can keep rolling in, and that's what you're seeing, and that's, I think, what he feared would happen here in the second half.
It's happening now.
Meanwhile, long minutes for Jatim Young, T.J. Parker. East Lansing, Michigan, the Breslin Center, Northwestern, and Michigan State. Wayne Larrabee, Greg Kelser, great to have you with us, along with our ESPN Plus crew. First of a doubleheader, late afternoon doubleheader. Iowa and Penn State to follow on many of these stations. 9 minutes to go. Time running out on Northwestern, down by 10 on the road. Jennings back in. Tough shot over Lorbeck. Knocked out of bounds by Michigan State. Will belong to Northwestern. Boy, that Lorbeck has a long wingspan, doesn't he?
He certainly does. Coming off of one of his better games. In fact, his career scoring game had 19 second-half points against Wisconsin.
He kept him afloat in that game.
Yes, he did.
Hill nearly had a pick.
Hill, by the way, in addition to being a solid basketball player, a terrific student here on the Michigan State campus. Has a almost a 3.9 average.
Wow. Jennings with time winding down to the shot clock. Down to 2. Doesn't realize it. Finally gets it off. Not in time. Second time here this afternoon. Northwestern has had a shot clock violation. Something you rarely see from a Bill Carmody coach team.
T.J. Parker, he's the point guard for this team, but he's a freshman. But it's his responsibility to make sure everybody knows what's on the shot clock, and he'll learn.
Parker defending Torbert. Switch. Winston Blake takes Torbert. Bograkis to Anaganye. Right back to Bograkis for the open look. Anaganye. Need we say more?
Without a doubt, he's the strongest man in the building, and I'm including the crowd. Nobody can put a body on him now.
11 second half points for Al Anaganye. Jatim Young, the turnaround on Torbert. Nothing coming easy for Northwestern. They continue to struggle from the field, and it's always one and done here in the second half. Michigan State has secured the board. Great ball movement. Bograkis denied by Jennings. Outstanding defensive play by Jennings. Parker running the break to Jatim Young.
Nice job. It started with defense. Solid defense by Northwestern, and then they get a run out with numbers and cut Michigan State's lead back to 10.
Razem Lorbeck. And Gagne open at the baseline. That's not his shot.
He and Bograkis both turning down wide open shots.
Lorbeck. Heel of the rim. Blake the rebound.
I guarantee you if Bograkis had taken his, or if Anaganye had taken his, it would have come closer than going in by the shot we just saw by Lorbeck, who shot it as an afterthought.
Yes, indeed. T.J. Parker spinning into traffic. The fall away. Nicely done. The freshman out of Lisle, Illinois. Lead Torbert. Spinning to the goal. And one!
Great body control by Kelvin Torbert. And if you're Northwestern, you cannot allow what just occurred. You just worked hard on that end to get a basket, and then you give one up after the team takes the basketball out of bounds, get beat by down the floor, and a three-point chance to boot. Michigan State with the chance to go back up 11.
Torbert makes good on the free throw. 13 for Kelvin Torbert. Al Anaganye has risen to the occasion in the second half, leading Michigan State to its lead.
Good neighbors, and proud sponsor of Jeff Burton. Citgo, we know you.
horsepower all-wheel drive Infiniti FX45.
Michigan State on top and getting huge contributions from two prominent individuals, Aloysius Anaganye and Kelvin Torbert.
Well, Anaganye has taken over this second half, and he's doing it all in that paint area with his offensive rebounding, the electrifying finish, and of course, Kelvin Torbert got things going, scoring 8 points in the first half, and he too is starting to have a major impact on this second half. Beautiful block right there as Michigan State tries to put away Northwestern's Wildcats.
Those two gentlemen have accounted for 16 of the 22 Michigan State points in the second half. And Aganya gets a break. 17 turnovers forced by Michigan State here today. Duwancic back into the ball game for Northwestern. Blake for three. That's a shot he would hit with great regularity in the last couple of seasons. Parker called for a blocking foul here. Puts Northwestern over the foul limit. Is the second personal foul on Parker. Jason Burke comes back into the ball game, and he replaces Duwancic. So Bill Carmody's team gets a little bit smaller. Now let's take a moment to thank our Big Ten corporate sponsor, Cooper Tire, proud to be the official tire of the Big Ten Conference. Cooper Tires, don't give up a thing.
Hey, Wayne, is Chris Hill shooting or is he putting?
Well, let's take a look.
Hey, Mo, you got shooter. I'm pitching right here. You shoot him, Mo.
1 out of 2 at the line. Hill with 5 assists here in the ball game, 6 points. Came in as the leading scorer. And what was strange to see is look at a Michigan State scorecard and see only one player in double figures. Foul coming up here.
Michigan State foul. Number 40, Paul Davis.
It's on Paul Davis off the ball. It's only his second personal foul. Coming up on 6 minutes to go. Jatim Young against Anaganye. Burke steps into the lane on the drive. And we got a foul coming up on Michigan State. Blocking foul, believe that was on Anaganye. Anaganye's third. 6 on the team now.
For the most part, he's done a nice job, Anaganye, of staying out of foul trouble.
So they get him on the hack, and at the free throw line, Jason Burke. Coming up on many of these stations, the Penn State Indy Lions travel to Iowa to take on the Hawkeyes, Carver Hawkeye Arena. That's the second game of our Big Ten doubleheader on ESPN+. Northwestern in this second half, just 5 field goals. And now just 1 of 2 at the free throw line. Michigan State by 11.
Northwestern needs a stop here desperately.
And Aganye goes to work. They doubled down on him, nearly threw it away. Ager with 7 to go on the shot clock. In the lane, sets up Davis to beat the clock.
That's a killer, because if you're Northwestern, you force Michigan State deep down onto the shot clock, and then you give up the basket, which kicks their lead back up to 13. Hold them there, and you'd have been coming back shooting for a chance for single digits.
Young jumps into the lane, tried to manufacture a shot, got it back. Burke for 3, and it's a 10-point ball game.
Huge.
Coming up on 5 minutes to go. Torbert Hashad. Second personal on Mohammed Hashad. Torbert is so explosive with that first step, Greg. It's almost hard not to foul him.
And he's showing the ability to go either way. He can go right-hand dribble. He can go left-hand dribble.
18 fouls now on Northwestern. Hashad leads, picking up his second personal foul.
Northwestern wants to turn the pressure up on Michigan State, but they've been in a penalty situation for quite some while. So any contact, any whistle, Michigan State's going to shoot free throws.
Torbert now with 14 points, 6 of 9 shooting from the field, even better from the line where he's 2 for 2. At Wisconsin, he had just 6 points on 3 of 7 shooting from the field, but 5 assists in the game. Torbert and Hill have had to kind of share that point guard responsibility at times for Michigan State until they get Rashid Johnson really into the mix. I think they're going to have to continue doing that. Michigan State by 12. Inside of 5 minutes to go for the game. Jennings. Torbert came over and knocked it away. It'll belong to Northwestern. Bograkis back into the lineup. For the Spartans, Maurice Ager has a seat on the bench. Ager had that well-documented bout of, they were calling it an asthma type attack, fainted during a practice around the Christmas holiday here, and I would imagine he probably, Tom Izzo company, limiting his minutes a little bit in terms of the number of minutes he plays. The long stretches are not going to be in the game plan for him, at least not right now. Blake from the outside had it partially blocked, I believe, by Hill. Knocked out of bounds, last touch by Michigan State. Biggest difference, Greg, in Michigan State in the second half, are you seeing on the defensive end more than anything else?
The defense and then their strength inside, especially on the offensive end.
And Gagne gets called for a forearm foul, his 4th, and now the Wildcats will go to the line for a one-on-one opportunity.
Gagne is playing really well right now, so if you're Michigan State, you hate to have to take him out of the game, but I'm not so sure that Tom Izzo is going to trust him in there not to get into further foul difficulty. Another foul, and he's gone.
Bograkis knocked it out of bounds, went hurtling over the Wildcat bench into the first row of supporters.
And for the Spartans, 13, Hager.
Tom Izzo's going to gamble with Aloysius Gagne. There's Michigan State. They've been hustling the entire game.
That ball was out of bounds. Last touch by Northwestern before Bograkis went hurtling. And Gagne has a seat on the bench. Ballinger back in.
That's a good move because this game isn't over yet. And you may need Gagne's strength back in there. So you want to protect him now with the clock winding down under 4.5.
Ager wants to set up Ballinger. Torbert spinning. And 1. Yes, and it counts.
He showed a lot of strength there because when he came out of his spin move, someone got a good hand on the basketball or his wrist. Right there.
There it is. Jennings.
Didn't bother him at all. And Izzo, if you didn't think it was good, now you know.
It's a 14-point lead. He can make it 15 right here. What a second half for Kelvin Torbert and Aloysius Gagne. 18 for Torbert, 13 for Gagne.
They overpowered Bill Carmody's inside players, and that's exactly what he talked about. You mentioned it earlier, the strength of Michigan State. It has taken control in this second half.
And again, because of the style of offense that Northwestern runs, this is a huge deficit for them. They don't score a lot of points in a hurry, and this turnover here isn't going to help.
Gotta like the way they started the game and the way they played the first half, but it was obviously something that they were hard-pressed to continue in the second half.
And again, you may say, well, they scored over 70 points against Indiana and Purdue, But two things involved there. Number one, they were at home. Number two, they played on the lead all night. Hager for three. This would be a real dagger. Inside on a gun. You make that Torbert inside. Torbert with 20 points. Career high. 32nd timeout Northwestern. 3:29 left to go, and Michigan State has it in full throttle, leading by 17, their biggest margin of the afternoon.
Here's Kelvin Torbert. Now in the first half, Northwestern only gave up 4 offensive rebounds. Well, Michigan State starting to get them in bunches now, and second chance points really mounting. Kelvin Torbert playing one of the best games of his still young career here at Michigan State. Feeling healthy and showing why he was one of the top recruits when he came out of high school a little more than a year ago.
He has shown us explosion on his move, and he's shown us great springs in his legs here this afternoon, Greg.
No question.
So the Spartans, who are trying to put together a run down the stretch, and Tom Izzo mentioned that despite all of their maladies, the injuries, the turnovers they've had, the deficits they faced in the first half of many of their games, if you take a look at their 9 losses, they've been close in all of them, or well within range with under 4 minutes to go in each one of those games. Those 9 losses have come by a combined 55 points. They're not far away from having a spectacular season going.
And if you look at Torbert's numbers and Anna Gagne's numbers, they have been the story here for Michigan State. You talk about those 9 losses. Well, you don't expect to have won them all, but if you could have just won half of them, Michigan State would be looking at a totally different season.
They'd be in the top 25 for sure.
Yep.
Coming up on 3 minutes to go. Jatim Young for 3. Devancic, the rebound. A bad pass to Young, hit him right in the ankles. Picked off by Davis. Turnovers have helped crush Northwestern here today. Up over 18 turnovers now. Under 3 minutes to go. Davis shakes Devancic. Spartans attacking the glass. They knocked it out of bounds.
I mean, when the shot goes up for Michigan State now, all you see are white jerseys waiting for the camera.
2:47 to go in this one.
Ma questa macchina è troppo piccola, dove metti I bagagli?
Sorry, baby. I have to leave it.
Man has always struggled with speed versus space.
Think that thing's big enough?
Until now.
Thank you very much.
The new Infiniti FX45. 315 horsepower, all-wheel drive, and utility when you need it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, let's watch you get the ball. Once you got the ball, where did they
Right point, fires a shot.
Now that is mad dog defense. Now it's a good tactics. They just work it a little bit more like that.
Impossible. Here we go.
Nice tip. Way to crash the board. Basketball 101. Basketball 101.
You need to hurry up. What are they taking their time for?
Tackle somebody! Tackle somebody now!
That's bush league. That's all it is. Nothing but bush league.
They always collapse.
Same thing last.
Come on. Push it, Fisher.
Come on.
Push it.
Harry's open! He's open!
Run. Knock him down. That's the limit. Don't foul. Beautiful.
Make a play.
Get up for God's sake.
No, just hit somebody.
Take him on the floor.
That's
the way to play, fellas.
It's a disgrace. Just a disgrace. They ought to be ashamed of themselves.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Today's Big Ten game. has been brought to you by Infinity, makers of innovative high-performance premium vehicles. Cooper Tire, proud to be the official tire of the Big Ten Conference. Cooper Tires, don't give up a thing. And by Cadillac, bold vehicles defying convention.
Back at East Lansing, Michigan State on top. We talked about Jennings and Hill, the two leading scorers for these clubs here today. Hill has been more of a facilitator with 5 assists, only 1 turnover, 3 steals. Jennings has never really gotten into the flow of the offense.
That's because Jennings has been bumped around. He's been knocked off his mark when he's been inside. And remember, he hit 4 3-pointers to help beat Purdue. Michigan State defended him out on the perimeter as well. So he was pretty much a non-factor in this game, and he needed to be if Northwestern was going to have a chance.
And in the second half, Jennings struggled with foul trouble. He has 4 personal fouls right now and is on the bench. Foul on Bograkis was his second, 8 on the team. T.J. Parker going to the line. As we mentioned, one of the fine freshmen in the Big Ten.
Chris Hill, on the other hand, he's had some decent looks. His shot hasn't been there today, but as you mentioned, he's found time to do other things. But the biggest thing for Chris Hill, he got picked up by his teammates today.
Yes, he did. Yep. And he set them up. And again, earlier today, Wisconsin took over the lead in the Big Ten Conference. You know, it's amazing to me, Greg, you go across this conference, nobody talks about Northwestern, but boy, there they are on top of the conference. And Michigan putting it to Ohio State. And don't forget, we've got Penn State and Iowa coming up next on many of these ESPN Plus stations. At the baseline, foul coming up, and it's on Evan Seacat holding Kelvin Torbert.
Evan Seacat is first.
Puts Northwestern over the double foul limit. 2:16 to go in this one.
2 shots in the double bonus.
Torbert now with 21 in the game. The standings, this is updated through today's final. Wisconsin on top, and again Indiana now falling to 5 and 6, and 15 and 9 makes them a bubble team when you consider NCAA possibilities.
Right.
But 5 and 6 also. I don't think the committee is going to take a sub 500 conference team this year. For Torbert, adding to his career high. Torbert and Anaganye in the second half have combined for 23 points. That outscores Northwestern's complete total in the second half by 3. Bill Carmody's emptied out his bench. Mohammed Hashad for 3. His first field goal of the day. He started.
Michigan State hoping that this game will be a springboard, a momentum builder for what will be a very, very tough assignment Tuesday night in Champaign, Illinois.
Well, coming in, they had won 3 of their last 4. This will make 4 out of 5. I would consider that a pretty good streak they're putting together now.
Yeah, they responded really nicely after losing the tough 2-pointer in Ann Arbor. They come back, they beat Illinois, Indiana.
Rashid Johnson stays right with us, a junior college point guard out of Mott Community College in Flint.
Actually, Michigan State beat Indiana twice here and on the road. So yeah, 4 out of 5. And if you'd asked Tom Izzo a couple of weeks ago, would you just, if we give you 4 out of 5, would you take it now? Would you want to take your chances at 5-0? I guarantee you, he'd take the 4-1.
Kelvin Torbert comes out, gets a hug from his coach, and a standing ovation from the Breslin Center crowd. 22 points, a career high. He and Al Anaganye were huge in this second half. "70 seconds to go. And again, a reminder, Mike Gleason standing by in the studio. And in Iowa City, Penn State poised to take on the Iowa Hawkeyes. That's coming up next. Michigan State winding it down under a minute. Spartans about to go to 14-9, 6-5 in the conference. Johnson trying to manufacture one there. Evan Seacat chases down. For 3.
That's what he does, Wayne.
Yep.
85% of his shots come from three-point range. I don't think he knows that there's a paint area.
I don't think so. They must have told him you will not shoot inside the arc. So the Spartans wind this one down. They'll have to take one more shot at least. Michigan State continues at home, very successful, 11-1. Only Toledo beat Michigan State here this season. I don't think the Spartans are going to take a shot. 5 on the shot clock, 8 on the game clock. And a shot clock violation turns it over to Northwestern with 3.8 remaining.
I think that's a situation where Tom Izzo is saying, hey, we won the game, no need in inflicting any more damage.
And that will do it. An impressive second half for Coach Tom Izzo, led by Kelvin Torbert and Aloysius Anaganye. A big second half crushes Northwestern 64-51. We send it back to the studio. Coming up, Mike Gleason will bridge us between East Lansing and Iowa City. But again, the final 64-51. Let's go to the studio and Mike Gleason.
All right, thanks a lot. Coming up in Game 2 on the Big Ten Network, it's Jeff Horner, another rookie point guard in the Big Ten. Horner, the homegrown kid from Iowa, leading the Hawkeyes against the Nittany Lions of Penn State, coming up in just a few short minutes. Now, the Wisconsin Badgers, well, they knocked off Michigan State on Tuesday. Then Indiana beat Michigan. Purdue lost at Northwestern, and the Badgers went to bed that night tied for the Big Ten lead. And they had the Hoosiers in the Kohl Center today, Indiana knowing in the back of their minds they could not lose another Big Ten game. Let's take a look at the action now. Late second half, Kirk Penny feeling it now. Penny pass, nobody open. Well, he'll knock it down. 54-47 Wisconsin. Late in the second half, Wisconsin pulling away now. Here's Kirk Penny again. Stepping outside to the launching pad. He's got it. 59-49 Wisconsin. And the Badgers go on to win it again, 71-59. Wisconsin now 8-3. Penny, Penny having a big second half. 50-30, Wisconsin outscoring Indiana in the second half. And you look at Coverdale against Penny. Well, Coverdale winds up with 5 points. Kirk Penny with 22. He was 7 of 11 as Wisconsin now 8-3. Indiana falls to 5-6. Well, Michigan hoping to hang at the top as well. They were 7-3. Daniel Horton having a big game. Nails his 3rd straight 3, and it's 33-23 Michigan. Daniel Horton, the rookie out of Texas with a spin, hits the J, 40-26 Michigan. Later in the game, it's Mr. Horton again. This time, slicing through, nice little feed inside. And Chuck Bailey for the Jam, the sophomore, playing in his 54th consecutive game. 55-32, now it's 67-54. So Michigan, after losing to Indiana, they win this one. They will be 8-3 as well. Of course, Illinois-Purdue coming up later tonight in the Big Ten. But Michigan State coming up with a big victory against Northwestern. Kelvin Torbert, 22 points for the Spartans. That's a career high for him. Let's go back now to East Lansing, where Greg Kelser is standing by. Greg?
Thanks a lot, Mike. I'm standing with Coach Izzo. Coach, congratulations on the win. I know coming in you worried about Northwestern's ability to knock down the outside shot and get backdoor cuts. You seem to take all of that away from them in today's game.
Well, especially the second half, I thought we did a better job. You know, the first half they hit a couple of those threes, but we did a very good job of taking away those back cuts, I thought. And KT played, exceptionally well, especially the second half.
And we're going to talk to Kelvin Torbert in a minute, but I want you to talk about the play of your big guy inside, Aloysius Anaganye. I thought he wore down Northwestern in that second half.
Greg, we wanted to go in there a little bit more than we even did, and I think that was maybe my fault. And, we wanted to get the ball in there, but give Northwestern credit. They play that matchup zone, that you pick 'em zone, and it gave us some problems. You don't know if they're in man or zone, and they do it very well. So I think they deserve some of the credit.
You've won 4 out of your last 5 games. Is this the springboard that you were hoping for as you continue your Big Ten season?
Well, I think so. We have to get better. I'm not sure we played great today, but like I said, I give them some credit for it, and yet it was a difficult game for us. But now we get a little time, and we got a couple days, and we go back to Illinois, so it gets tougher. But it's exciting that we're at least winning.
Well, congratulations again, Coach. I'm going to talk to Kelvin now. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Okay. KT, career high 22 points today. You played great. Wayne Larrabee and myself in doing the game, we noticed that you were jumping exceptionally well. You're healthy now. How was it for you out there?
I mean, it felt good. I mean, just going out there, we know they got that matchup zone. So, I mean, any given time, you might have a mismatch. So, I mean, you just got to take advantage of them.
In this game, you were able to get the ball inside. Your jumper, you got it going earlier. When that happens, does that seem to open up everything else for you to, for your complete game?
I mean, I think that helps out a lot. I mean, knowing that you can stick the outside shot and get to the basket, I mean, that makes it hard on defenders.
The 22 points today, a career high. Can we expect more of this? I know the thing that you're looking for is consistency. How about the rest of the season as far as you're